I've been asked to put up a screencast for the end of Module 6 quiz number 3. The student didn't ask about Part A, but let's just start at Part A, and that gets us to Part B. So let's proceed. I'm going to toggle back and forth between a couple pages so I can show my work. Well, maybe I can do it here. Anyway, how many permits will be traded? We're going to just approximate from the situation where these are continuous functions rather than worry about the stair-step functions, which technically gets us a little bit of a different answer, but just in terms of the price of a permit. But if we just assume that the market's clear at a unique price and quantity, let's just proceed. Well, we know in the permit trading outcome, we know that marginal costs will be equalized. The marginal cleanup costs will be equalized across firms. So that means we know that 40 Q1 is equal to 120 Q2, and that will get me, I can divide both sides by 40, and I get Q1 will equal 3 times Q2. So firm 1's going to do more of the cleanup because it's the low-cost cleaner-upper. What else do we know? We know that Q1 plus Q2 has to equal the amount of pollution we want cleaned up. They were polluting at 60 units. Now they're being asked to cut back by a third down to 40. So they are going to have to clean up 20. Q1 plus Q2 equals 20. And then you get, I can substitute 3Q2 for Q1, 3Q2, this is a break, 3Q2 plus Q2 equals 20. So 4Q2 is equal to 20. So Q2 equals 5. Q1 equals 15. 5 permits are traded. Because if they didn't clean any, if they didn't trade any permits, they'd each clean up 10 tons of pollution, or 10 units of pollution. And just, this is where we're going to use that approximation. If there are 5 permits traded, then and firm 1 cleans up 15, firm 2 cleans up 5, we'll just assume that the price of a permit is equal to the marginal cost. We'll see in a moment that that's a little bit off. I'm going to do the stair-step supply and demand and show you that maybe in a separate screencast because that takes a little bit of time. 40 times 15 is 600. Verify that 5 times 120 is 600. So the price of a permit is 600. Technically, we're going to see it could be anywhere between 720 and 600. There's a willingness to buy that 5th permit, a willingness to pay 720, and a willingness to receive 600. All right, so then we move on to cleanup costs, and here I'm going to need to toggle back and forth. So let's first think through costs. Let's think through the cleanup costs in command and control. Sorry, this stylus isn't drawing very well. So here they each clean up 10. So remember how we do that. Firm 1, clean up 10. It's going to, the marginal cost of that 10th one is 40 Q1, so that's going to be 400. Here again, we're approximating. Really, it would be a stair step, but let's just approximate continuous function just because that's a lot easier. So the first one costs a little bit, second one, third one, fourth one. We add up those costs. We're going to approximate that by the area under this marginal cost curve. That would give us the cost of cleaning up. So 1/2 times base times height gets us to 2,000. 1/2 times 400 is 200, times 10 is 2,000. So we'll enter that number in the appropriate box in a moment. And then firm 2 would be cleaning up 10 as well. Only firm 2's cleanup costs are much higher. Actually, I'm going to run out of room here. But their marginal cost of cleanup is $1,200, right? 120 times Q. Q is Q2. Q2 is 10. When we take the area under that marginal cost curve up to 10, we get 1/2 times base times height, 6,000. So let's just go back, enter those. 2,000, 6,000. That's a 0, believe it or not. And then as far as the cap and trade program, we can do the same thing for the cap and trade. But now firm 1 is cleaning up 15. Their marginal cost is 600. And when we do 1/2 times base times height, we get 4,500. I've got it all written out over here, yeah. 1/2 times 600 is 300, times 15 is 4,500. And then for firm 2, you get a lower cleanup. They only clean up 5. And of course, their marginal cost to clean up is also 600. 1/2 times base times height, 5 times 5 times 300 is 1,500. I didn't write that out, but 5 times 300 is 1,500. So we're let's go back and enter those. And now, as far as permit sale revenue and costs, will the revenues for selling 5 permits at $600 a piece, firm 1 gets $3,000, and firm 2 spends $3,000, and then their total, their net is $1,500, 4,500 minus 3,000 for firm 1, and firm 2 spends a total of 4,500 on cleanup. And notice they're both better off. Firm 1 was spending 2,000 to clean up under the command and control. Now it's net 1,500, so that's a savings. Firm 2 was spending 6,000. Now it's down to 4,500. There's a big savings there. Now, part C and D, which I suspect were the harder ones. And I'm going to, in this screencast, I'm going to do the easy approximation and leave it at that. And if I decide to torture you with another screencast with the supply and demand written out, I'll do that in a separate screencast. I'm at 9 minutes here, and I'm going to run out of time. But the easy way to do this one is to realize that, MC1 plus MC1 is going to have to equal MC2, which is going to have to equal MC3 at the optimum. And also, MC3 is just constant at 800. And then finally, we know that Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 have to sum to 30. Why 30 instead of the 20 before? Well, this third firm is unregulated, would emit 10 units of pollution, and it doesn't have any permit, it's going to have to clean up all 10 if it doesn't buy some permits. So we can solve that out pretty easily. We know that all three marginal costs are going to be 800. So we know 40 Q1 is 800. That means Q1 is 800 divided by 40, which is 20. The same logic gets us Q2 is equal to 800 divided by 120 now. That's 6.67. That's why I needed that assumption that firms can clean up fractions of units, sell fractions of permits. And then finally, since all that cleanup has to add up to 30, Q3 is equal to 3.33. And as far as pollution cleaned up, we have 20, 6.67, and 3.33. And we know firm 1 would have emitted 30 in the unregulated case, so now it's down to just emitting 10. Firm 2 would have emitted 30 in the unregulated case. Now it's down to 23.33. And then firm 3 would have emitted 10. It cleaned up 3.33, left emitting 6.67. So that's, and then of course the permit price, I didn't leave you room for that, but the permit price would also equal that marginal cost. It would be 800. So permit price would go up. Basically, we have an additional demander of permits, and firm 1's going to clean up a little bit more and sell a few more permits.